Hi, my name is Dexter. I'm excited to have you on this wonderful episode of the Dexter's Bridge Show. I'm here with my beautiful wife, and we are co-hosting this show because it is our 11th wedding anniversary. Is it wedding or marriage anniversary? Whatever. We were married for 11 years. We've been friends for over 20 years.
20 years.
20 years.
Yes.
With this. Okay, so this episode is dedicated to marriage and all things living with another human being, another annoying or exciting human being. But that's not where it matters most. I have with me another guest, wonderful couple. I've known them for about 10 years now. They've been amazing people, friends, mentors, and guess what? They've been married for 15 years. Wow. I have with me Daniel David. He's a business manager with one of the leading pharmaceutical companies in Nigeria. He pastors young people, and he's a serial mentor, business coach. And with his wife, Oluwaseun Elizabeth Daniel, she's a former asset manager and now serial entrepreneur herself too, and she loves young people. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you having us
here.
here.
You know, all these people
pleasure.
like intimidating you. 15 years in marriage, you know. Here, my wife and I are talking about being married for 11 years, and we're bragging about it and intimidating all the young people, and they tell us it's been 15 years, and I say, well, and when then I have teenage children, so you know it's another thing to have children who are teenagers, and you're just you're struggling with all those little boys running around. So we'll get there. It's good. But you know, one thing about getting married is after the wedding, all the rosy things, you are into the marriage. And so, what was the first shock? What was the first shock? As soon as people got married and you were living together, you know, all the romance, and now you were in this thing, the first shock you had as married people.
You go first. You go first.
Okay. The first shock, I'll share two. Right,
okay.
At this point too.
So shock everywhere.
Shock.
Mine was just a few days after the wedding.
Okay. Before we got married, of course, I was planning to leave for the UK for my master's degree. And so the thinking was we get married and then I go and then I'll come back later to pick you. And then 3 months after the wedding?
Yeah, I think it was it 3 months? 2 months.
2 months after the wedding.
2 months after the wedding.
I just got either a call or a text.
It was a call.
I'm pregnant. I was all alone in the house.
Sophie.
She was on the other side, it was a call, but back then my was like, pregnant.
You pregnant somebody's child?
I mean, pregnant somebody's
wait.
child.
What were you thinking?
Were you surprised?
I was surprised. I was actually surprised, you know. I was swept off.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting.
But you were doing the work of the Lord.
I was doing it. I was doing it. I didn't even think of that. I was just enjoying the
fact. But you didn't think it mattered.
I was just enjoying the fact that I was married.
I'm actually shocked.
And then I was like, oh. So definitely I had to make adjustment in my plans. Of course, I couldn't travel out anymore.
Okay, UK plans aborted.
Yeah, aborted. You know, I had to stay with my pregnant wife. That was my personal decision.
I like the way that sounds.
Right. So then the second shock was after she relocated. She was in Lagos. I was in Asaba, Delta State. And then I remember that morning she was going to work. So I said, babe, I have some money. Monthly alawi, you know.
As a responsible husband.
As a responsible husband. And then she looked at me and she said, I wouldn't need that. Yeah? I'm like, I'm your husband.
How much was that again?
I think it was 20,000.
Yeah, it was 20,000
20,000
naira. It was.
That's
So
about
20,000
15 years ago.
was more. I just no.
was small,
It wasn't born out of arrogance or pride.
Wife
though.
material.
But I just felt I needed to support my husband, and since I had a higher income, why bother him? You understand?
But
Not
I'm
knowing
sorry.
that he was actually doing his own obligation.
You
at
do
point
that
in
now.
time.
If he gives
Babe,
you
I
money.
want to. I was bringing the more, the better.
I said to let me now shock you. Even before then, you remember when you said to me, babe, you know if we look at our salary, yours is higher than mine. So it was logical to say, okay, why not move down to Lagos?
Lagos, yes, that was another one.
Okay. You were in Asaba.
I was in Asaba.
She was in
Lagos.
Lagos. She was earning more and better.
About times 3 or times 12 when I was earning.
So it made logical sense at
It
the time
made
for her to
logical
relocate.
sense.
You know, that was
Instead of her
just the,
relocating,
exactly. Why not you
I needed to
relocate and
relocate.
get even get better opportunities? That was just it.
Guy, you don't enter. You know. Yeah, but we're able to, sail through all those pockets of
But and
challenges,
this is
yeah.
one of those issues that people stumble over, and I've seen social media banters about if the woman earns more than the man, who should move and things like that, and people try to pontificate and make canons out of it and all that. And you can see a couple who had to walk through that straight, and there was no issue about it. And believe me, they are doing amazingly well. So each time it's all about what works for each situation.
Exactly.
Yes. But was there any shock?
Oh yes. Few days after our wedding, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I know I was upset. I can't really place my hands on what's caused what, but I know I was very angry, and I was expecting him to apologize as he used to before we got married. He wasn't forthcoming. I was all sulking, and this guy should come and apologize now. For those days, he even kneel down, buy flower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lover boy.
Yes. And he knows how to apologize back then before marriage. After wedding, I was angry. He looked at my face, and he was just minding his business. I was like, and I now told him, won't you apologize? Apologize now. I'm angry. He said, have you seen a man that would embark on a project, and after completing that project to still remain there?
Yeah.
My wife already. I've completed that project. It's very true. Let me finish my story. I've married you. If you say, man, after building the house, maybe he would leave it and face something else.
No.
You're not my wife. I finished that. I can't be chasing you and apologizing.
The chasing part.
I use my tongue to count my teeth.
No.
And I told my this is reality.
No. You are misrepresenting my character. No. I feel very attacked. No, see.
Let's help us to this side of
You see,
it.
it wasn't about apology. It wasn't about apology.
Okay.
It was like they usually doting on me, all those things she used to do, all the extra attention and things like that. So I told her, I said, okay, not because I changed, but some of these things were because of the projects we were pursuing at that time.
Ew.
But a few things have to
You
change.
say anything
It's
again.
not consciously, but things change. I mean, the way you relate with your girlfriend is not the way you relate with your wife. It's not conscious, but a few things have to. I mean, responsibility. So no, I don't like. It's not true, Sha. Don't say. I don't apologize to you. Can you say that? Okay. So now there's another thing I noticed. Before you get married, there are things you think you know about your spouse. Things you think you know about them, or the person you thought they were, and you are now married, or a couple of years down the line, person happens to be a different person, or the things you thought you knew about them and discover you were wrong. I mean, mine typically, and this is after almost 10 years, I started noticing that. So my wife brings challenges. She has a problem at her office and I have to listen. My wife is a very talking type, I'm the not so talking type. So I have to listen to all her banters and all the gist and everything. Hey, my staff did this one, that one. My supplier did this, and she's giving me a retinue of challenges. And, me being the business consultant and the mentor at large, I want to solve all the problems. So I start adducing and rolling out solutions. And she's angry. And what's the problem now? You told me challenges, and I told you how to solve those problems. And I discovered that my wife doesn't want you solving the problem. She just wants you to listen to everything, and I'm shocked. So I don't know.
Exactly. No, you think to you are Mr. Fix-It. That's what you think.
I'm trying to fix the problem.
We just need you to give her your ears.
Wait.
Take it in for her. Or how do you?
Wait. Are you saying it happens to you too?
Not that it happened. It's a lifestyle, right?
Like a routine or what?
Yeah, of course, the lifestyle. So
I've
come to a point where, okay, I'll give you a scenario. Of course, my wife is an entrepreneur. She runs her own business, and she does healthy drinks. And I keep saying, increase capacity, get a team. I will. And then I got back from a trip. She had this contract. She needed to do like 400 or 450 bottles. My dear, I had to sit down as a juice maker to help her juice. I've realized that most of the time when they come with these problems, all they want you to do is listen and possibly empathize, right? And I said to her, maybe I'll just throw my counsel, if you like.
You don't expect anything to be done with it?
Exactly. So that's one aspect. The other one is that one that you always lift in your hands.
Oh, the finger thing. The finger thing was just something expressive. I think you misunderstood.
No, it's a
what
mannerism.
It's a mannerism, exactly.
It's a mannerism.
You see, I'm still even doing it now.
That was, you see, that was misinterpreted. As an egocentric human being. You know, you're talking to your wife and then you say this.
She's pointing fingers. Yeah.
I say, babe, you're pointing at me.
And culturally, that might be
Culturally,
a culture shock.
Exactly. I think there's the
culturally
culture
was a
shock.
shock. Then I'm wondering, are you sure this is the lady I married? But of course, I had to sit her down. This hand raising, it's not going down well with me. Of course, it happened a couple of times when she raised her hand. Angel, bring down until it became something she was aware of and then corrected it. So a couple of things, but we were able to deal with it.
But doesn't it make sense that when somebody tells you a challenge they are having and you give them a solution, like in my case, my wife tells me about her issues with her staff, and I have loads of staff. I've dealt with all these kinds of issues and it works very well. So I expect that you tell me you have a problem or you're having a problem, and I tell you how I was able to solve that problem, and you should go and implement the same thing. Problem is solved and we move on to the next thing. The most annoying part is that 2 days after, she comes back with the same issue. I have to sit down and go through the torment of listening to the story again. And if I don't say anything, babe, you're annoying me, you are ignoring me, you're not saying anything. But babe, I told you the same thing yesterday. You did nothing with all the counsel I gave you. And you're coming to want me to listen again. It's not torment.
Is it torment?
Wait. People do this thing on purpose or
No, we
something?
don't do it on purpose. Don't get it wrong.
My gender.
We're never wrong, are we? No, we're not. So back to what you were asking. When we bring such, or when she brings such to you, listen again.
Thank you.
And then prefer, or should I say, just twerk around your so-called answer and then release it back. So women are very unique, we're very dynamic and
Special species.
No. See,
the way you guys see things is totally different from the way we approach it. Pastor D.
this is not making any sense. Wait, let me finish. It's not about me yet. Let me finish. See, this is not making any sense. I consult for people, and somebody comes to me, a woman comes to me. Maybe it's just like a spousal familiarity thing. Because a woman comes to me and tells me the challenges having with her business. I give her solutions. She go implement it, and it works. And here's my wife, a business person, comes to me, tells me the challenges having with her business. I give her a solution. She doesn't do it. And she comes back tomorrow again complaining. The problem is that the complaint drives me not. It impacts on my life, on my peace of mind, and the smooth running of the family.
Your peace of mind.
So we're supposed to solve this problem and move to the next thing. You people should just learn to solve problems and not regurgitate the same problems and just sit down.
I think possibly they have a special way they deal with this. I think most of them are possibly more emotionally intelligent than us. And when they see us providing logical solutions to the problems, most of the time it doesn't go down well with them, or they don't see it as the right one, but they have a better way of dealing with issues. Because if you will realize the issues she presented to you, she would have dealt with it one way or the other. But not resorting to your logical 1 + 1. So when she returns back home, it's like relaying what happened to you, a storytelling session, and she wants you to buy into her emotions, empathize with her, and just tell her to be okay.
And she tells you, that's all you say. Babe, that's all you say. But after 20 minutes of Jesus, that's all you say, it's okay.
Because if it was really a burning issue, she wouldn't let it die that way. So I think it's having an understanding of who your wife is, and then come up with ways of relating better with her when it comes to things like that.
So she was going, okay, babe.
Yeah.
Say, baby, I've been so mechanical. Just how you answering me like that. I don't know what to do. What again do I do? I can't advise. I can't give you a solution. I can't, baby, I'm not saying anything. And if she gives you the gist and you don't respond within 30 seconds, babe, I thought I say you just ignored me. Babe, I'm trying to think.
It's not that bad now. Please.
No, I tell her I'm trying to think. Then what she now does is, after giving the whole gist, she now say, are you thinking now?
Yes, you're thinking.
Okay, do you think too?
Yeah, I do. I do a lot of thinking. Of course, before you got married, I got married. You know, a lot of seminars, having to learn how to listen. And listening is actually a good skill, even in business. As a coach.
Wait. Are you saying I don't listen?
No. I know.
Because in listening, what I have realized is that you pick even the unspoken word.
Of course. Of course.
So I have learned to listen to my lovely wife. And I've learned to also pick the unspoken words. Most of the time, it is the unspoken words that count.
Yes,
it's possibly she's telling you about the stress she's going through.
Thank you.
And not the problem itself.
Exactly.
She's just trying to tell you I'm stressed. And if you look at the sequence of events that day, maybe at the end of the day you get into the room and you're trying to get into the holiest of all, and she tells you, I gave you a story before now.
You're coming back.
To you it's a story, but to her, I only told you that I've been stressed, and now you're coming
to ease the stress.
Thank you, sir.
You're coming to ease the stress.
And you're
So
coming
that's the whole stress reliever.
You are coming to ease. No, you're coming to ease the stress.
To you, it's easy, but to her, it may not be.
No, scientifically proven, it ends up easing the stress.
I agree with you.
Are you sure you're on my side? You're supposed to be on my side.
I am on your side.
No, I'm not getting.
120%.
I'm not getting that vibe because I'm supposed to. Okay, babe. Are there things that you thought you knew about me that you discovered you were wrong?
Many things. Okay, let me just say one. Personally, I'm kind of person that I like to cook. I like to cook. I like
to go to market.
I like to go to market. I like to
spend
cook.
your whole day
Allow
in the
me now. I like experimenting.
Were you born in the
food.
market?
I like to do dishes. I love everything about the kitchen. So as a single lady, I was thinking, okay, when I get married, I'll do all this plating, garnishing. I'll do ceremony for my husband. Oh my God! Unfortunately for me, I got married and my husband is one person that when you bring the food, as he's seeing the plenty food like this, you just lose appetite. You bring plenty meat and he just look at everything and I don't know whether he doesn't like chewing. He will just go for even banana. What's the easiest thing to chew? Banana. He'll tell you blend it. I want smoothie. I can't chew. He doesn't like food. Food is boring. And I'm one person that likes to do food, let me do salad, dress it, do this one, put sweet Irish potato and do serere. My husband does not like. Today he wakes up and he tells you, I don't like okporoko anymore. I don't like stockfish. I grew up, my mother taught me how to use, everything in my house, even stew. My mother uses stockfish to make stew. So I grew up knowing that you use stockfish to cook almost everything. And then a few years into the marriage, my husband will just wake up and say, I don't want to eat stockfish again. I don't like the taste anymore. And I'm like, I don't know how to cook without stockfish. Tomorrow he wakes up and he tells you, I don't like the taste of ice fish anymore. Do grilled fish. And I'll have to change my style and I don't know. When it comes to food, it's just a roller coaster. Please.
No. See the issues.
It can be very frustrating. When the one is in the kitchen
and you're pouring out your heart, you're putting everything to bring out one sumptuous plate and somebody's giving you some.
He's not if he doesn't like food.
I think that's where we differ, though. With him, we're both foodies.
Oh, nice.
We're both foodies. And
on air.
Yeah, we like eating now. We like eating, tasting lovely meals, my darling husband. But for us, basically,
please, will you start eating for me?
Well, for us, basically, taking out that time, to prepare all those meals, get it ready and everything. In fact, he's even pitying you and he's like, babe, you should be tired by now. He's even coming to the kitchen from time to time to check on you and all that. Like, okay, is food not ready? Okay, what are you even up to? And all that kind of stuff.
When I'm busy doing all those ceremony, putting this one, I'll put boiled rice one place, put porridge beans one place, put stew. He'll just come and start eating it there. Leave all this activity. Give me the food.
See, listen. What I'm getting from all this, and people are actually ganging up against me. If somebody is hungry, they want food just the way they want it. What you are celebrating is your own. You are celebrating. I want food, not the ceremony. You understand? I want food, not the ceremony.
So the plating aspect and all those, should I say, aesthetics involved in making the food look so palatable to you, doesn't appeal to you.
See, what I want is
that's
food,
how women
not
are.
the ceremony. And per time, the things I like might differ. Let's go on a break. We'll be back because the way this is going now, I'm not sure. Let's not talk about food anymore. We'll be back after this break. Thank you for staying tuned. You are still on to Dexter's Bridge Show special anniversary edition. Before we went on the break, these guys wanted to put me in trouble. I don't like stockfish. That's not a crime, is it? And they wanted to have a conflict in my family. By the way, speaking of conflict, how do you resolve conflict? Because let me give you a typical example. Last night, my wife and I had a banter over a photo shoot. I don't like pictures. She's a photography freak. She wants us to do a photo shoot for our wedding anniversary. I said, no problem. Anyhow you want it, I'm good. Because I don't want to talk. You're not saying anything, you're ignoring me. So I don't know how do you handle conflict really? How do you explain yourself?
Well, for me, conflict is a good thing. It shows we have divergent perspectives on issues.
Listen, let's
agree on anything.
No, let's listen.
And so it's important that we harmonize our thinking and pick a common point where we can all roll. So for me, having an understanding, for that's a scripture that holds my home. The Bible told about two friends who had issues, and then one returned to Jesus with an offering, and he said to him, drop the offering and return to meet with your friend and resolve the conflicts.
Okay.
The lesson here is Jesus didn't ask who was right or wrong. So conflict is not necessarily about who is right or wrong. So for us, I don't allow tension. I'm willing to say sorry. Even for what I know, I am 120% right. I'm willing to kneel down.
Stop clapping.
Just to ensure
10 points.
That there is peace. But in doing that, I'm also modeling her.
Yeah.
Right?
Good.
It's not as if I am in Nigeria context, a mumu. No. Because I strongly believe that marriage is work.
Yeah.
You have to put in that time, you have to put in that energy and everything. So that's one path. And that sometimes, because you also know that you're not perfect. Right? And then you just play along. You don't want to be the master all the time. This is the way, it must go this way.
It has to be.
No. Okay, is that what you want? No problem. Photo shoot. The photo shoot is done everything. So if this is what makes her happy, of getting married to you, tag along.
Years.
My wife and I don't agree about anything. In fact, if we have 10 things, I'm not sure we have only 2 things on any list that we agree. I don't know if it's the same thing with you people. My wife and I are like north and south.
Sure.
I want to hang out and enjoy myself. She wants to stay at home. I want to spend money and buy something. She doesn't want you to spend a dime. So everything, in fact, almost anything I want to do, I get an initial no from my wife. Yeah. As I will not call her, you are my. Is it the same thing with you?
It's natural. I don't want to say it's natural, but
not compatible.
No, that's another thing. Totally, that's another thing. Totally.
We don't agree on anything.
Yes, we're doing very well in
exactly.
That's
only enough. We have a great marriage.
Beautiful.
But I want to understand. Do you agree on issues?
Not all the issues. Not all. I don't understand when people say they are not compatible, because compatibility to me or to us does not necessarily mean we must say yes to everything.
Okay.
If you are in a team and you have varying ideas, right? Once you pick an idea and you all agree to work with that idea, whether it is yours or not.
You drop your initial
idea or perspective, and then you run with that single idea. That's how home runs. So she comes up with an idea. It doesn't go down well with me, right? But if we all agree that this is the idea to run with, right? I mean, for example, our children needed to change school. It wasn't my idea. It wasn't my idea at all. You know, she collaborated with the children, schemed. There was nothing they didn't do.
Oh, they're scheming in your home now.
Oh my God. I have teenagers, you know, they scheme. Just come tell you one story. Daddy, you know.
So they're already on my side.
And funny enough, of course, Daddy's also a smart man. So I'm able to link up. Where is this coming from? I had the bedroom talk with my wife. My first daughter is saying this. My second daughter is saying this. And then the last born comes with his own humor. And then tells you, Daddy, why should just I and Jessie be at home? Bring my sisters back home. And I'm like, this guy is passing a message. Where is it coming from? Of course, the parliament met.
Exactly.
And then they took a decision.
And then the Senate president.
Yes. You know, and eventually when I looked at it, and one of the reasons she cited was actually security, because they were staying in neighboring states. I held on to that, and I had to tag along with her. It wasn't my idea, but I had to work with her idea.
And then you didn't take it down easily at the initial stage?
No,
because I know
I didn't.
This thing we're talking about took us like 2 months. We're still on conflict resolution. Took us like 2 months initially. At the initial stage, I took that approach using the children to like push it forward. Tell your dad you don't want that school. Tell your dad this and all that. But it wasn't working. But I didn't relent. I knew what I was after. I need these kids back home for a whole lot of reasons. Apart from the security reasons, they were growing kids. I felt I've not done enough on them to mold them the way I want to. But seeing them every day gives me that opportunity to mold my girl child the way my mother did to me. And I feel I can do better as a 21st century parent. So when I told that line of making the kids to come up with all these antics, which didn't work, I remember vividly one thing, and which is one thing I like sharing with people. You can't do certain things on your own. You need a God factor, especially in conflict resolution. You need God's wisdom to be able to carry along with some things, to get some things done. And I remember vividly praying about it. If I can humanly get him to do it, Holy Spirit, you know my heart desires, you know my thoughts. This is not something that is tilted to self. It's just for the common good of this home. And I prayed about it. I was like, God, please just take control. I don't know how you're going to do it, but just take control. And then one morning he woke up and he was like, okay, go on school hunting. Go and hunt for a school in Asaba. She's Asaba. You ain't go and hunt for a school in Asaba. And you know, it was like, I should go ahead.
God answers prayers.
God bless you. I just told myself.
So you should be praying.
I just told myself, if it's going to take me a week, I must get it right.
I want to ask you this. Is there like a chart? He compromised now, so next time I should be the one compromising. Is there like an occasion where he feels I've been the one compromising all along? Can't you compromise? I mean, is there
exactly that. They're like a scorecard. Yeah, there are times like that whereby you look at it and you're like, deep down you're like, don't go and push it too far. Push your loco. You know this guy has been the one bending the rules to your end. And as a woman, I tell myself I have all the arsenals at my disposal. So even if I want to say sorry, even if I have to dance to his tune, I study the work. At that point in time, whether it's through the meals, whether it's bed talk, and that's when you remember. So for him, even if he's on the bed, that's when you realize that his beard needs to be groomed. By the time you stroke 1 or 2 parts on his head there, and then you pass the message to say, sorry, was it that stuff? Sorry, now let's forget it. And believe you me, I tell people behind this hard-looking guy, he's one nice softy that I know. All I have to do is do the needful, and then the next one is all history. That's just it for us.
Abi Barak boy. I'm coming for Abi Barak. We know they fall to that idea.
When you see this play out, of course you understand.
You know where they are going. Okay, sometimes that's the truth. We just concede, not because they're actually winning.
No,
that's what you think sometimes.
Okay, what if this conflict is caused by another person. Let's say you did something, you gave somebody money,
a third party,
a third party, something like that, or let's say your friend or your ex, somebody in the past is trying to, nothing fishy happening, but you are being misunderstood for something happening beyond your control. You're trying to be a nice
I think
person.
my husband will be able to answer that. He has an experience there. He has an experience there.
Okay, I'll share this. My ex calls me up a day and then she needed some help. So I didn't think otherwise. I was in a position to help. So I sent her some money.
Sharon, did you know about the ex?
Yeah, I know her.
Okay,
I know her.
okay.
Sure.
10,000?
No, 20.
I don't want to-
Oh, that's what you know how well I remember. It was 20.
20,000.
I remember that money very well.
And I kept the evidence, the teller in my suit pocket. And as I always do, I'm a salesperson. I like keeping records. So when I got home, I picked the tellers and all the papers in my suit. Babe, just drop it in the bucket. And then trying to pull up my suit. And the next minute, somebody picks the pillow and walks out of the room. So I asked myself, did my suit offend her? So I walked straight to the next room immediately. Babe, what's up now? Did anything happen? I was there for about 10 minutes. I came back tired.
And she gives you the most frustrating thing. You now start asking and begging.
The body language.
The body language. So immediately I said, okay.
It's that begging part that I hate. You be
You
begging.
beg.
Babe,
You know.
please now.
Why
Why
you
beg?
beg?
Beg
Tell
me as
me
if
now.
I'm not agree. Do you
babe,
beg?
tell
Do you
me now.
ever beg?
So when I was tired of begging, I said, okay, babe, when you're ready to talk, I'm at home.
Thank you.
So as I was about to leave, exit the room, she said, next time, please be discreet with your tellers. Oh, so I looked at her, I don't understand the reason. So I said, hold on. So I went, changed, and I got back. I said, okay, I gave you the teller. I gave you. It wasn't a mistake. Don't you think I had sense to
have
shred the
destroyed
teller
it, yeah.
and come back home and nothing that happened? Giving you that teller should send you a signal that, oh, my husband is transparent. I want you to know, right? She was in need of help, and I was able to offer that help. So we had that conversation, and then she said to me, but why is it that whenever she needs help, she comes calling? Don't you think she wants to use you? I never thought about that. I took that counsel, and straight away I blocked her. Yeah, because there was no need. I'd rather stick to my wife than stick to ex.
Sure.
But of course, I had to hold that conversation. And you see, in crisis management, you must be ready to have that conversation. And one person must be ready to compromise if you must move on and move ahead. So I dealt with that, and so far, any issue.
I always have to tell you before sending money to my ex now. I always have to tell him. Then, good guy. Just make it send. He doesn't even ask me how much you want to send to him. You say, this guy needs it. He just look at me. You can send to him.
But when I'm the one sending, how does it happen?
You've never sent. You've never had any reason to send to your ex.
Okay, I'm not giving money
No.
to any ex
The
relationship.
good girl who's always asking me for money.
But okay, see, it's something that you brought up now about transparency. What if after trying to get her to understand and she didn't, and you now find yourself in a place where you have to send money to somebody, not your ex now, anybody, and you know if I come home, my wife will raise a storm in the teacup and I have to do this. Don't you think it will lead to a point where you start concealing evidence, not for anything wrong, but just because you don't want the challenge, you don't want the quarrel?
For me, it all depends on how you want to model your home. If you check her phone, all evidence of my transaction is in her phone. I send the receipt to her. She has it. I can pay any price for peace. Me. 15 years has been the 15 years of peace. I send to our parents in our names, even when she's not aware. This is what I have done to daddy and mommy. That's the receipt. And to other people, even to friends. Right. Because sometimes it could be spontaneous. There's a need to intervene. Of course. Just send out the receipt. Like I said, if you have decided to model transparency, keep at it. Right? 15 years has been, for us, a time to model being naked and not ashamed. Right. So there's nothing to hide from me. Right. But I'm willing to hold that conversation at any point in time if my decision is misunderstood. Yeah.
I think one thing we have to think about out of this conversation is the fact that no matter how you look at it, your marriage is more important than any other image you want to put out.
Yeah.
There are many men who want to be the nice guys outside and have a turbulent marriage at home. You can't afford. It's not worth it.
Absolutely.
It's not worth it. If you have to make a sacrifice, through any other thing under the bus, you have to keep your marriage. It's very important. And something that you were saying that's very important too about transparency. You should be willing to pay any price to maintain the rule of transparency in the marriage. It's important to be transparent. You have little things to worry about. In fact, you shouldn't have a great memory in the marriage.
Yeah, very
Yeah, exactly.
You don't need a great memory in the marriage.
Yeah.
Because you say things the way they are, you forget it.
Yeah.
If they ask you tomorrow, it's what happened that happened.
Yeah, that's what works for me.
Yes. To keep
it works for me. I don't keep tracks of either wrongs. No wrongs. I exactly no. I've realized when you keep tracks of wrong over time,
you open healed ones.
Not just open the healed ones, but as you age, it affects us. The older you get, that's why you see some old people, because it affects you health-wise, mentally. They start suffering from dementia and so many things, because when you check what they have in their minds is a garbage of wrongs. Ooh. That's why you see some old people digging up exactly that.
The brain don't jam.
It don't jam. And you understand? Then you see some old women saying, 1920 this, your father. And you're like, mommy, like my people say, today what happened again? I will never forgive him. And these women unconsciously have taken these things to their 70s, when they're in their 70s, their 80s, and they can't even see what is right again in their spouse.
And they're together.
They're together. That's why so many of them live together, they raise children together, but are they truly together? Do they have that heart-to-heart bond and love? No. They've chosen to muster and keep and lock in all the wrongs their spouse has done. They can't even see any good in him again or in her again. But for someone like me, I just told myself consciously, I don't keep track of anything. It has happened, bye-bye. It's all gone.
I can't keep up.
You understand? He keeps stories. I can't remember stories. As I say, I call him a good storyteller. But in terms of issues, what I've learned to do over time is pick the lesson, move on. How it's going to make the marriage better. I don't believe in divorce. I tell people that. And I'm not ready to toe that line. Like he said, I will do whatever it takes to maintain peace in my home. And it's not just to maintain peace, but enjoy that home.
Enjoy the home.
I want to enjoy my marriage. You understand? I want to enjoy everything marriage has to offer me. You understand? I can enjoy it. You understand? And marriage is a beautiful thing, and regardless of what the storms people go through in it, I've told myself one thing: no matter the storm, it's a storm. Storms are temporary. I haven't really observed it. There's no storm that will last forever. It comes so kind of like a hurricane, like it's very dramatic, as if though it's going to take you in, but your ability to stand and face it and look for possible solutions, you go through it, and the storm is something of the past. It becomes history.
Marriage is an interesting journey. Storms will come every now and then, but no storm lasts forever. An African man begs a lot about one particular thing. All your begging, all your motivation, all your communication, all your marketing skill happens when you're about to have access to Lord have mercy.
I have spoken the biggest and the greatest grammar of my life.
On bed?
On bed. I suffered.
I'm a night person, my wife is a morning person. And that can be very frustrating. My wife, I don't know, between my wife and the chickens who go to bed early. For a man, sex is both a pleasure, for adventure, of a satisfaction.
Maybe you sleep and fell into her vagina. You can say, okay, you sleep and fell into her vagina once. But then you are there every time you are doing
You're crossing the gutter.
And
you're crossing the gutter. You don't fail.